Hi friends, welcome back to Ego, the skill provider. I'm here to discuss one of the biggest problems that youth are facing these days while trying to face an interview. And what's that? Unable to communicate in English. Because most interviews, basically MNCs, they conduct the interview, the medium is always in English. And we have a problems how to crack the interview because we don't know how to express ourselves in English. And I have close to 1000 interaction with so many students, professionals, PG or undergraduate students. Like I'm getting a single excuse. It's not a cause, it's an excuse. And what's that excuse? It's an excuse. And that's the excuse that we are Oriya medium educated students. Odia medium education medium re padichi, and that's why I'm unable to speak English. My dear friends, let me remind you, Oriya medium is not an issue at all. You are trying to make a scapegoat out of it. So it's a good excuse. You are trying to take it as an excuse. It's not the proper reason. It's not the actual reason. The actual reason is that you are not able to employ the right kind of methodology or an approach to master spoken English. So if you'll ask me, so is there any way you can master communication skill? Yes, that's very much possible. And it is not going to take you more than 3 months. Within 90 days of time, you can speak English fluently, confidently, naturally, and of course, error-free English. So how it's possible? Let me tell you, my friends, at school and colleges, upon the school and college kotha kouchanti, basically we are studying something called written English. That's not spoken English. And there is hell and heaven difference between written English and spoken English. In written English, we are basically focusing on a grammar skill. Okay, they are testing on your grammar skill, how correctly you can write anything. And upon say somewhere grammar ko, obviously you are going to put a lot of focus on grammar. But let me tell you, whenever it comes to spoken English, grammar is not an essential part. Without learning grammar, without knowing grammar, you can speak English confidently, fluently, right? So how it is possible? Let me tell you, you can find it out. We have something called, this is the diagram, and we call it the pyramid structures. And here you can check it out, something called structures. What do you mean by structures? How to make a sentence. ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇଂଲିଶ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ବା ଆପଣ ଯେକୌଣସି ଭାଷା କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଲାଙ୍ଗୁଏଜ ଟା ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ତିଆରି କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ସେ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ଟା ମିନିଂଫୁଲ ହେବା ଦରକାର and that is something called structure. You should know how to structure a sentence. Means you have to make a sentence as per the situation. The second thing is something called collocation that nobody is focusing on it these days. Collocation is something called self rectification process, and we have close to 1000 lessons on this particular topic. And let me tell you, and this is an equivalent of grammar in spoken English. Jemti ame kouche, grammar is essential for spoken English, written English. Exactly. Collocation is very much essential and important, you can say, as far as spoken English is concerned. And the next one is called vocabs. Vocabs is very important. Without vocabs, you cannot speak English, you cannot write also English. So we have close to 600 vocabs I'm going to give you. And the next one is something called practice. Look, spoken English is a skill actually. Driving is a skill. Cooking is a skill. Just like that, spoken English is a skill. If you want to master any skill, you have to do a lot of practice. जोटा कि अपन करि पारुनाहांती, and that's the reasons. These are the 4 reasons. If you are lacking this kind of things, then you are not able to speak English, right? And believe me, and spoken English is pretty easy if you are following these 4 steps. Just like the 4 fundamental steps you are going to follow if you want to speak English. Okay, and if you are going to enroll with yours, I am going to give you this kind of things. Look at the things. One is something called error-free English. You are supposed to speak error-free English. Samaste the English koi but you should be completely error-free. Okay, the second one is called confidence. Look, upon the English koi chesta kurchanti, and there is some kind of nervousness come, that is called fear factor, and we call it xenoglosphobia. So how to keep xenoglosphobia at bay, and how to proceed in your career, how to progress in your career. So that is something called confidence. We'll give you the platform how you can speak English confidently. And the third thing is called fluently, right? So you are supposed to speak English fluently, and last but not the least, that is called natural English. What do you mean by natural English? If you're going to learn something called idioms, something called binomials, something called structure, expressions, and these are called, it is, phrasal verbs. This is going to give you the much needed momentum to speak English naturally. Okay, so this is all about the course has been designed, and let me tell you that spoken English is not a rocket science. With the right kind of approach, with the right kind of methodology, with the right kind of mentorship, you can speak English, perfectly without any problems, right? So, are you interested to speak English? And always think that spoken English should not be a hindrance in your career. It should not be a stumbling block in your career. It should not be just like, it never acts as a humps in your career. Then ego, the skill provider, is the right platform for you. And here is the helpline number. Just put a high message stating that I'm interested to improve my communication skill in English, and my team will rightly get back to you. Thank you. I'm hopeful that we'll meet again in our demo session.